Hello everyone, in this video we are just going to discuss about the file structure in a C program, and then we are just going to write our first ever Hello World program in our dev C++ IDE, or you can use any other IDE if you are having any other IDE in your laptop or PC, but I have taught you where you can download this IDE, and now we are just going to develop the program in that IDE. Let's get started. So the basic file structure in a C program contains a .c file, that is a .c file format, that is called as a source file, and another type of file included in a C program project is .h extension file. So this .h is called as header file in our program, and this .c file format is called as source file in our program. And this source file contains all the programming lines with all the functions and function definitions, variable definitions, etc. And this header file is useful for including this source file to another source file, and for adding all the function definitions and variable definitions declared inside one particular source file to another particular source file. So for all the source files you are adding to your project, we will be having two different files with the same name, that is one is .c source file and another one is .h header file. And you can have only a .c source file in your program, but you cannot have only .h header file in your C program. That is, at least you must have only one source file in your project, then only the program will be successfully compiling. So this is the basic file structure in your program, that is in the C program. Basically all the files that you are having will be in two different formats. One is the .c file and another one is .h file, and you can name these two files with the same name for better user understanding. So let's open the dev C++ IDE for building our first project. I'm opening the dev C++ IDE, and for creating the project in this dev C++ IDE, hover over your mouse in this file and then click on left click, and then you can select new project, and in the first window that is appearing right over here, just select empty project, and in this radio button select C project. So this IDE supports C++ project also. So our intention is to write program in C language, so I'm just selecting the C project, and here you can give the name for your project. I'm just providing the name to be project. Give your location where you want to store the file and then click on save. You can see in the project tab the project has been created with the name project. So here automatically a particular source file has been created for the project. As I mentioned before, a project in a C language must contain at least one source file. So only a particular source file has been created. Here for example, let me just write down the basic lines, or let me just save this source file with the name main.c. I'm just typing something and I am clicking on save button right over here, and in the same location I'm just going to provide the name for this source file to be main.c. You can see, or you can neglect this .c because here the C source files .c format is selected. So you can provide the .c or you can neglect it. I am naming this file to be main because this is the main source file in this project, in which I am just going to write down my main function of the C program. So just remember that this is the main source file of the project, which will be containing the main function of the C language, which will be executed throughout the lifetime of the program. So I will tell you what is the main function step by step. Now understand, this is the main source file and this is the actual procedure. All the C projects must contain a main.c file, that is the main source file, and all the other source files that you are adding, that is the source files and its respective header files, you can give whatever name you want as per your understanding and as per the need of the project. But other than all those files, you must have at least this main.c file in your C project. You can see the source file has been named with main.c, and in addition to this you can add as many files as you want to this project. Just right click on this project and click on new file, and you can save this file to be main.h. you can leave the source file or you can select this header file, and that's it. You can see like this you can create source file and header file, and this main.c file contains definitions and declarations of variables and functions used in this file, and this main.h file, that is the header file, contains only the declarations of variables and functions used in relevant source file, that is the main.c file. So this source file contains the definition and declaration of variables and functions used throughout this source file, and this header file contains only the declaration of variables and functions, and sometimes it will be also holding some definitions that we will see later, but most rarely only it will be holding the definitions of any functions or variables. Mostly the definitions will be done right over here and only the declarations will be done in the header file. And another purpose of this .h file is you can use this .h file for declaring the variable used in this main.c file to any other source file. That is, let me just add another source file and save it to be timer.c file. Okay, now you can see this project contains 3 files, that is main.c file, main.h file and timer.c file. So for using the variables and functions that I am writing right over here in the main.c file in timer.c file, what I will do is I will directly add this header file main.h to this timer.c file, so that all the functions and variables that I have defined in the main.c file will be utilized in the timer.c file. So this is the main purpose of adding header files for all the source files in your C project. So most often we will not be creating header file for the main.c file, and for all the other files like this timer.c we will be creating a timer.h, and any other files, that is the source files added to this project, will be containing the relevant header files for the source file with the same name of the source file. So for this purpose also we will be using this header file. So for now, as I mentioned, the source file, that is the main.c source file, need not have the .h file. So I am just removing this main.h. I don't need this, and also I am removing this timer.c, and that's it. So like this you can add as much as source files and header files required for your project as per your application and your need. And as I said, you can have only one source file to your project, that is the main source file. This is very compulsory for C program. You must have a main source file which will be containing the main function, which is the function which will be executing the relevant code available in your program. So all the executable statements written in C program must be written inside a particular function, whether it may be a user defined function or a main function. It must be inside a particular function. So functions are nothing but block of code which needs to be executed. So functions are block of code which needs to be executed. So for now, understand, functions are blocks of code which needs to be executed. And in C program, the block of code is always written inside a flower braces. You can see this is a block of code which will be containing the programmable lines. So inside this block of code, you can write whatever programming lines that you want. But for this block of code, you just want to provide a name for this block of code, and the compulsory block of code required for a C program is nothing but main function. So the template for writing the function is, you just want to provide the return type of the function with a space, and you can give the username of the function. That is, you can use any return type available in C program. The default return type for any function is nothing but void, that is nothing but nothing, it returns nothing. And username of the function you can provide as per your wish. If it is a user defined function, you can provide any name to this function, but since I am creating a main function, you just want to type in the default name of the function, that is main. And following that, you just want to provide these two parentheses. So inside this parenthesis, you can write void if you want, or you can leave it. Both are same. So this is the default syntax for writing down a function, and this is the compulsory function for every C program. So all the C program must be having this main function which will be executing the important lines in the program. So whatever the lines that you are writing inside this main function will be only executed in the C program. Because of that reason, this function is a very important function in C program. So all the C programs that you are going to write from here on will be containing this main function. So from the explanation, you can understand that the C program is a program made up of functions with at least one function, that is main. That is, the C program is nothing but a block of functions or a group of functions provided to form a solution for a problem with at least one function, that is main. So you must have at least this main function in your C program. So that is why I have told that with at least one function, that is main. So other than this main function, you can have n number of functions as per your wish. So I will explain you that while we are moving to the functions part in our course. For now, understand that there must be a function called main function in every C program for executing your program. So that's all about the basic function. For now, just understand that this is the important function. That's all about the understanding for you now. Later we will understand deep about functions and the type of functions available in C program. For now, just understand there is a function called main function which will be used in the main.c file of the project, of the C project. So here we are just going to call another function called printf, which will be useful for printing the contents to the output window of this dev C++ IDE. So for printing a particular word or a string, you just want to provide double quotes inside this function call, and you can type whatever you want to print onto the output window. So I'm just typing in hello space world, so that the hello world will be printed to the output window of the dev C++ IDE. And for using this function must be declared and defined. As I said, for using any function, you just want to declare and define a function. So for using this function, you just want to add a header file called as include of stdio.h. So the stdio.h is a default header file available in this C program, which will be having and containing the function called printf, scanf, etc. So for using this function in your program for printing something to the output window, you just want to include this header file to your project. So this has include macro is useful for including a particular file to your source file. As I mentioned, this is a .h file which will be containing the definition and declaration of functions in its own source file, and we are just adding this .h file to our project for utilizing this printf function in our program. So that's all about the need for this stdio.h. For now, understand, for using this printf function, we just want to add this stdio.h. That's it. Now I'm saving this program and I am compiling this program. Just click on this compile button, or you can click on F9 in your keyboard for compiling the program. You can see it contains 0 errors and 0 warnings. Now just click on this run button or icon, or you can click on F10 in your keyboard for printing the output to the output window or for executing this program. You can see the hello world has been printed to the output window of this IDE. That's it. The program is working fine and the string hello world has been printed to the output window. So that's all about the first ever C program execution done by us in this video. I hope you understood the basic file structure of C project. What is the difference between .c and .h file in C program, and how you can add a header file to your project, and how you can print something to the output window of the IDE. So in this first ever program of hello world that we wrote, we just used this void main function, right? So there is another method of writing down this main function, that is, you can give a return type to this function. You can either write it as int, but the only change that you want to do is, if you are providing a return type from this function, you just want to add return of 0 at the end of this function. So this is the only change that you want to do if you are writing this main function with the return type, or you can proceed with the void like we have done before. So now get to know that you can also use int as a return type to this main function, but the only change that you want to make is you just want to write down this return of 0 at the end of your program in the main function. Now also you can see when I compile and build this, execute this code, the hello world is printed. I am getting the same output. There is no change in the output, and that's it. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.